The Battle of Pharsalus was the result of the civil war between Caesar and Pompey. It was a battle that produced unexpected outcomes, some of the greatest casualties of the war, and left a big impact on Roman society as a whole. There was bloodshed and chaos, but on the other hand, it was a true spectacle of military strategy. In order to explain the battle, we need to know how the war even started, which was actually the result of another war. You see, Caesar liked war so much he had an 8-year war with the Gallic tribes that really only fed his passion for conquering other lands for no reason. This taste for war scared the Senate back home in Rome, so they ordered him to resign from his position. You first have to understand that Caesar did not come to power as consul all by himself. He rose to power with a group of men called the First Triumvirate. This group consisted of Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey. The real man to remember here is Pompey. He was Caesar's right-hand man, even going as far as to allow Pompey to marry his daughter. But after Crassus died during one of Caesar's conquests, it left Caesar and Pompey butting heads and with a souring relationship. At the same time that Senate was reprimanding Caesar, he went behind his back and allied with the Senate. So when Caesar agreed to resign, he expected the Senate to do the same thing to Pompey. But they did not. This angered Caesar, and he refused to give up his army. In response, the Senate declared him an enemy of the people, so Caesar, being Caesar, he crossed the Rubicon River, the boundary between Cisalpine Gaul and Italy proper, where he marched into Rome, marking the start of Caesar's civil war. When Caesar invaded Rome, the Senate and its allies, including Pompey, fled across the Adriatic Sea to Greece. Caesar then sent many legions to capture some of its provinces in revolt, and the rest of his legionaries to the coast of southern Italy, waiting to cross the Adriatic. In defense, Pompey ordered a naval blockade of the Adriatic led by Marcus, Calpurnius, Bibulus to combat Caesar's invasion of Greece. This led to both armies at a stalemate across the sea from each other. But then winter set in, and Bibulus ordered his ships back into port. This allowed Caesar and a small number of his troops to land in Greece. After Bibulus learned of Caesar's actions, he sailed back, tried, and failed to attack the Roman fleet. He eventually got sick and died at sea not too long after. After obtaining the rest of his army in Greece, and having a scrimmage at Pompey's fort in Dyrrhachium, Caesar was forced to retreat to Thessaly, where both sides agreed to a battle on a field near Pharsalus. When both armies met, it was said that Pompey had 45,000 infantry and 7,000 cavalry, and Caesar had 22,000 infantry and 1,000 cavalry, leaving Caesar with unfavorable odds, but still, he prevailed. When the armies converged on each other, Pompey had his men deploy on top of a hill and camp there for a few days. When the Romans got sick of waiting and went to leave, the Pompeians rushed down the hill and formed a line next to the river. Caesar's men formed a wider and more spread out line, while the Pompeians, with greater numbers, were able to form a tight and deep line, giving them another advantage. Both armies had cavalry facing each other on their flank, the Romans on their right and the Pompeians on their left. Also, they both had their opposite flanks protected by the river, so no need for much or any cavalry there. The Romans made the first move by ordering their infantry to charge at the Pompeian lines. But as they got closer, they realized their tactics of slamming uncoordinated into the huge Pompeian line would be a disaster. So without orders, they stopped, pulled back, and regrouped, where they formed a tighter line and slowly advanced toward the Pompeians, throwing javelins as they went. During this, the Pompeians utilized their massive cavalry and decimated the Roman cavalry, leaving them running and the Pompeians pursuing. But this was actually a trap, where the Romans actually led the Pompeian cavalry right into a small Roman line behind the main infantry line. The Romans used their javelins as spears, impaling the horses and their riders as they pummeled into their line, leaving the Pompeian cavalry either dead or fleeing. After repelling the Pompeian cavalry, the same small Roman line grouped up with the remainder of the cavalry and advanced into Pompey's now unguarded left flank. At the same time, he ordered his third line to push into the Pompeians, putting the might of Caesar's entire army into Pompey's line. Pompey's left flank started to fall apart, which started a chain reaction, crushing Pompey's army into the river, leaving him defeated, and Caesar victorious. Pompey then fled to Egypt, where he was subsequently assassinated. The Battle of Pharsalus is a major and decisive battle in Caesar's civil war. It proved again that Caesar was invincible, no matter the odds. It now was made a point that Caesar was the true leader, and no army or government could stop him, and he would live out the rest of his days peacefully with everyone loving him. Or would he?